How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What's up, Will?
What's up?
How is it going, man?
It's going. It's a little sleepy this morning, but
Stayed up late last
what
night?
it takes. Stayed up late last night, woke up early this morning.
That's
what
how we
takes.
do. That's what it takes. Well, everybody, welcome to another week of Story of the Fight. This is a podcast where we cover all things mixed martial arts. My name is Ramiro. That's my boy, Will.
What's up?
And today, we'll be covering Rizin. Super Rizin 38. This is our first time covering Rizin. There's no UFC on over the weekend. Will, I know you're super excited about this, and I bet you anything that if Richie Casual, our producer, did not watch UFC the last couple weekends, he did not watch Rizin last night, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We still love him. That being said, if this is your first time and you even remotely like the podcast, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way for us. Also, Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found, and also social media.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, everywhere. I just got the username on Vero just to have it.
What's Vero?
Vero, it's like Instagram before the algorithm got all messed up.
Oh, dang, for real?
Yeah.
There's so many different like social media platforms popping up, and I feel so old now because I'm like, what is this new thing? And so, true story, the other day at work, I'm walking by and I tell this girl, I was like, hey, you're on your phone, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Are you updating your status on Facebook? And she goes, do people still use that? And I was like, I'm old.
You're like, oh,
true story. Yeah. But anyway,
my hand.
So yes, we had Rizin on last night. Now there was Rizin on a couple nights in a row, right?
Well, so it went overnight. So
okay.
So Super Rizin started 8 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday night, and
That's
then
what it was.
Once that happened, 4 fights that happened. Then there was an intermission where they did like a halftime show, and then
so it was really this morning.
Yeah, shout out to the homie on Twitch. Facebook dead.
Yeah, Facebook is dead, and I just learned that the other day through an embarrassing conversation for sure.
And then Regeneration is up. What's up, dude? Good to have you back.
Oh, Regen, dude, that guy's awesome, man.
I know.
Always showed
Hope
up.
You saw the Rizin card. Otherwise, we're about to spoil all the fights.
Well, I wonder how many people actually stayed up overnight to watch all these fights.
We have fans everywhere, dude.
I guess. Hello people. To all of our listeners in Japan.
Yeah, who are
now asleep. Yes, who are now asleep, and we'll watch this later. True. Yeah. But yeah, so like you said, fight started late last night, run through this morning on different types of cards, right? It was Super Rizin, then it was Rizin 38. And Will, you have been an avid supporter of ONE FC, an avid supporter of Rizin. Due to this, you let everybody know about Manel Kape before Yidri Prohaska. You let everybody know about Yidri as he was coming over. Well, you had some insight on these fighters because of your Asian MMA knowledge, right? So props to you.
Which honestly is still not that high.
but more than the average, more than rich to casuals, right?
Yeah. And real quick, also, Regen has a good point. Hello to all the moms tuning in today.
Week in and week out. My guy. That's so funny. But yes, because of your extensive knowledge, you've let us know about these fighters. Now, your boy here hasn't spent too much time watching MMA, ONE FC, or Rizin. And since then, you've got me watching it. And, dude, some of these fights are absolute bangers. The rule sets, the production. Do you want to get into it right now?
Yeah, let's just start Super Rizin.
We're going to start off with Super Rizin. Okay, first off, Will, the ring being covered.
Lights? Oh, that, yeah.
No. Okay. So the ring being covered by the curtains. And in my head, I'm like, why? Why? We all know what the ring's gonna be like. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do they have different setups every week? Like this week they're gonna have flames in the corner. Like next week they're gonna have like it's why is this a surprise? And then the curtains drop and the fighters are in there, and I'm like, this is so sick. And I thought I was way off when I saw the curtain. So we got Miura versus Bunchuai to start off, right?
Are we starting with that, or
do you want to start off top? Okay, let's start off with the top down. We have let me see who was it? Asakura versus Money Mayweather. Okay, so one of the things that I thought too with this production is like, what's up with these dime pieces just handing flowers off to the fighters before they start?
So that's always been a thing in like Japanese MMA. Well, not always. Like they don't do it all the time, but in the big events, they'll bring out the bouquet, right? You get the bouquet. It's just like a respect
beautiful
thing, right?
arrangements. Beautiful arrangements.
Yeah, they go all out. Before this fight, they get the flowers they give the bouquet to Asakura. He's like, "Thank you very much." Bows to the crowd. Crowd claps. Cool. Passes it off to his corner. Ready to rock. Dude walks over to Floyd, looks at him. Floyd's like about to reach for the flowers, and he just throws them on the ground and walks away.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "What?"
And Floyd was like, "Okay." And he gives a little nod. He picks up the flowers, hands them to his corner. Yeah. Not gonna lie, dude. At that point, I was like, "Get him, Floyd. Yeah. Get him, pretty boy, Floyd. Get him." Yeah. I was like, so the disrespect.
So I think the reason for the disrespect, obviously, there's theatrics involved, right? But also, I mean, Floyd. I don't know if you noticed, but he was not in the ring when the curtain dropped. And he was late. He was late. They're like, "There's traffic." Okay, I'll buy it.
Traffic, dude. We all know this.
I'll buy the excuse. He was in traffic. What I won't buy is the fact that he didn't start warming up in the locker room until his fight was next.
He has to tape up his hands.
Yeah, he's taping up his hands during the co-main event, and he's taking forever. Then they're like, "All right, are you ready?" And he's like, "I got to do my warm up." So then he does his warm up, and everyone's just kind of sitting around waiting. And we're like, "Hey, we have a halftime show to do after this, and we have another card we have to start. Like, we can't just hang out and wait for you to get ready." So I mean, it's pretty diva-esque, right, of Floyd to do that, which I mean, not outside of his history, but so I think that's why the flowers were tossed on the ground in front of him. It's kind of like, "Hey, man, we're paying you $20 million to do an exhibition match here. Like, we're treating you like the superstar, and you show up. Yeah, you show up and you pull this shit. Like, it's kind of
rude. Like a superstar, and you're acting like a superstar.
Like, you come into our house, and we treat you like the guest that you are.
My dinner party.
Yeah, but
so that's have you ever been in Japan?
No, I wish.
Neither have I. You know who has?
Floyd.
Richard Casual.
Oh yeah,
Richard Casual. If you're out there, how bad is the traffic in Japan? How bad is traffic in Tokyo?
I mean, foot traffic is definitely very wicked, but the train system is so frequent and on time that I wouldn't say that I ever felt late to get into my destination. Even when I was late for a plane, I still got there on time when I was running to the station.
Okay, well, you're not helping out Floyd Mayweather's case, okay? So you can hop off now.
I mean, I don't think he walked. Did he even walk? I'm sure he got a car, right? But there's
I'm trying to back him up here, and Rich is like, it's not that bad.
It doesn't stand. Not standing.
All right, Rich.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy the traffic thing. And if you do, it's like, hey, man, it's an exhibition match. Like, let's be quick. Let's be quick. Yeah, not that much traffic.
Twitch user 1324226. Hey, shout out to you, by the way. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Brian coming through. Valued info for me right now, Rich. I love you. Hey, shout out to Brian, by the way. Just a fantastic guy.
Shout out, Brian.
Fantastic guy. But yeah, so okay. So now let's get going into the fight. And the ref, Kenny Bayless. We talk about the refs all the time for MMA. Kenny Bayless just an absolute legend, man.
Floyd said, "Hey, I'll do your thing. Pay me $20 million, but I get to bring my own ref, and I get to
pay Kenny Bayless $1 million."
Yeah, exactly. But the fight itself.
Yeah, the fight itself. Asakura, I think he did a decent job in the beginning. Landed some body shots. On Floyd.
That second round was fun as hell, dude.
Oh,
First round slow building out process. Floyd was doing a great job bobbing and weaving, dodging a lot of
Classic Floyd.
But that second round, Asakura landed on Floyd really well. He cracked him once.
To Floyd too, though, because Floyd was aggressive coming out that second round also.
Well, if you remember when Floyd fought Tension over in Rizin, it was like an exhibition. They were kind of jabbing and stuff, and then all of a sudden Tension cracked him, and Floyd was like, "Oh god damn, we're doing a real fight," and then he blew through him.
Yep.
And he even said, he was like, I came over here, I was expecting like a little sparring match. All of a sudden, your boy tries to take me out. I had to like go hard at him, and then this happened.
He's
and
like, I didn't want to do
starts,
that.
Yeah, and then Asakura starts cracking him, dude. He landed some really good shots in that second round.
Step forward right where he lunged with that straight and knocked Floyd's head back.
Dude,
Floyd kind of smiled a little bit. He did. He caught him off balance. And then I like the fact that Asakura kept on putting the pressure on him after that. And you see Floyd kind of like laughing.
He's like, okay, this is fun.
And this is the best part, though. He gets Floyd up against the ropes. And Asakura comes in swinging. And Floyd just steps to the left and catches him with a check left hook. And just stepped away and smiled like, hey, dude, don't forget, man.
Yeah.
Your boy here is 50-0. One of the greatest ever.
Yeah,
it was awesome, man. But it was such a fun fight.
Yeah, that second round was awesome.
And then Mayweather kept on going to the body. I think he had like 4 or 5 straights to the body within like a 30-second span, which was just setting up the. There was one where like he throw the right hook to the body and he hits him right on the cup. Yeah. And Kenny Bayless like just lift it up a little bit.
Yeah,
just lift up
that right hand that dropped him though at the end. You can tell when Floyd sits down on his punches, man. And it's one of those things where if Asakura doesn't bring it, then Floyd's not going to sit down on those punches like that. He's just not going to. He's going to jab. He's going to dodge. He's going to slip, which he was doing really well. But he got cracked and was like, oh, okay, I can't be embarrassed out here. But that right hand.
Floyd at 45, still looking good, man.
Still looking good. I mean, dude.
I know this was an exhibition match. I know.
Yeah.
But he looked good.
I mean, let's be real. Probably didn't train that much for this. Shows up, warms up for like 5 minutes. It's like, all right, let's go. Against a guy who's like, let's be real, Asakura going into that is like, I'm going to try to knock this fool out. I'm going to be the guy that knocks out Floyd.
The real winner, though, from last night is the surgeon that gave him his hair plugs. Because Floyd, all of a sudden, lineup, looking good, dude. Looking young.
Beard.
Yeah.
The beard transplant, right?
I think it was a little bit of a beard transplant, a hair transplant. Dude, anything that involves hair in this region, you probably got some plugs, man. Because
I remember when he got I think he did get the beard transplant because I remember people's being
it used to be patchy.
Yeah, and I remember people like he used to look like me, but I remember people being like, man, if you're a fighter, you probably don't get a beard transplant. Like, what happens if you get punched and stuff? And it's like, well, yeah, but Floyd doesn't. And then he comes into this and he gets cracked, and the beard holds up.
It held up, dude. The real winners are the surgeons. Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 deal. Will, like, you get the beard and I'll get the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll be like, hey, come on, look it up.
Yeah.
2-for-1 deal. Let's do this. But that was a very fun main event for Super Rizin. I love the fact that Manny Pacquiao was there. He was in the crowd. He addressed the crowd.
They're going to try to get him to fight there.
Oh, dude, they have to, right?
Yeah. Ruben says, if I owned the strip club Floyd owns, I wouldn't trade much either, to be honest.
That man has a lot of different business ventures, and that is one of them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
But for sure, they're going to try to get Manny to fight over there.
Oh, and if you're Manny, why not? Maybe you won't get the 20 mil that Floyd got. You think so? Maybe 10, 15?
Yeah, something like that. Plus sponsorships. The sponsorships are huge over there. So, I mean,
oh yeah, dude. After the fight and Asakura standing there and like, dude, I don't know if you noticed this, but so they have the models that walk up with the different sponsors, like cardboards behind, and they have to stand there for like 5 minutes while they bring up different cardboards and take pictures of the fighters. And there's this part where Asakura is standing there and legit has his eye closed for like a minute straight, and I'm like, dude just got dropped.
Yeah,
like, dude, is this a dream? Where am I right now? And it was a clean shot because it was a straight right above the temple, yeah. And you could see as soon as he's rolling back, his eyes rolling to the back of his head, and I was like, oh, dude, he got hurt, man.
People are like, yeah, another Floyd Rizin fight where the fix was in, and it's like, I don't know about this one.
He got dropped.
He got dropped. Yeah, and Asakura has been in wars. He has, but I mean, when you get caught, you get caught. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. You want to move on to the next one? The next one was kind of a shit show.
Well, I mean, it's Japanese MMA, so you got to have them, you know.
Yeah. So it was Jizzy Mac, J Mac, the bodyguard of Floyd Mayweather, longtime bodyguard, versus
Yeah.
they're pronouncing it Kouzi.
Yeah.
But the ring announcer, who I usually tend to side with, goes Kouzi.
Yeah.
But so
How
Kouzi
about
weighing in at 144.
144. Yeah. And
J Mac weighing in 186. Okay.
Yeah.
So who sanctions these fights?
It's open weight. Same thing with the Floyd fight. It was open weight, you know.
I love this.
You know who sanctions it?
Who?
Rizin. They don't have to deal with some pesky athletic commission. They get to do whatever the hell they want.
Oh man. And hey, I was shocked because one of the things with the Japanese crowd, we heard Kai talking about this, right? With Asian crowds, they're a lot more respectful, very little chanting. There's only a few times that they kind of like clap and cheer. But during the middle of this fight, you hear them chanting.
I know,
slow clap for Kouzi, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's a legend, you know. I mean he's fought guys like Gomi and like, I mean he has a crazy kickboxing career. So this is like and he's at this point in his career, this is what he's doing. He's fighting guys like Jizzy. So you know, he's a legend. So I mean he's got the crowd behind him. He's fighting like the bodyguard who, like, I mean this is exactly what, like, the epitome of Japanese MMA. They have the freak show fights. Bob Sapp versus Mirko Krok. Like, this is what you get. And it's just entertainment. And people are like, this is a shit show. Like, why are they even doing this? It's like, because it's fun. It's supposed to, the whole thing is supposed to be fun to watch. So what are we complaining? You know what I mean?
It's super Rizin. I mean, at the end, you do have an exhibition match as the main event with Floyd Mayweather.
A boxer, you know?
Like, so with this fight, I feel like Kouzi was kind of like feeling it out in the first round, maybe letting J-Mac get tired. And J-Mac has the classic, like, let me hold your head down while I'm just trying to like land these big shots and then grab onto you.
He almost dropped him at one point.
He did? Well, he landed a shot, man. And the weird thing is that the ref waved it off and said he slipped, but when they showed the slow motion replay, he caught him with the right hand, caught him off balance. I don't think he was hurt, but he caught him off balance, which made him fall. But the ref's like, hey, we can't have this, right?
Yeah,
we can't have J-Mac dropping this legend right now. So it was a slip. It was a slip. But this fight, the second round is about to finish, and Kouzi lands a right shot,
cracks him,
cracked him, and saved by the bell.
Yeah,
absolutely 100%. Saved by the bell.
I mean, so Jizzy, the whole time. Anytime Jizzy's throwing, it's like he's like leading with his chin.
No, but then the other thing I noticed too, and look, dude, he probably did a better job against him than I would have, you know.
Oh yeah, I would have got smoked.
Yeah, same. But at the same time, I didn't get paid to do this. So when he's throwing shots, he's like turning his head to avoid shots as he's trying to throw shots. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to go well. And then Kouzi, as the announcer yelled it. Dude, by the way, fantastic. The Japanese announcers, the excitement when they call it out.
Just screaming.
Oh, dude, I love it. But he lands that solid right like in that like nose, top lip, area.
Broke it.
And it was game over.
I think he broke it.
Yeah, and the announcer was like, oh, classic Kouzi fixing his hair after the match. And then they pan over to J-Mac. I'm like, oh, and he's fixing his nose.
Yeah, dude, the best part about, honestly, my favorite part of the entire event was after he got finished, right? So he gets finished. He eats a lot of shots, big shots, gets finished, and it cuts to Floyd in his locker room as he's getting his hands taped up. And you're like, oh man, how's Floyd going to be handling the fact that his bodyguard just got KO'd? And he's like laughing and singing stuff, not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even watching his boy, dude.
No, because dude, more than likely it was one of those things where like Floyd's like, hey, you're going to pay me 20 mil. How about you pay my boy 1 mil?
Yeah.
You know, and he tells J-Mac, hey, bro, you're going to get dropped.
Yeah.
But
it's not going to be good.
Go out there, have some fun. Make a milli real quick. Why not, dude? Why not? Now, and this gets my head spinning. You know how my head works, Will, by now.
Yeah.
And the question I have on here is, Will, why don't people looking for bodyguards find absolute killers like Kouzi, right?
Yeah.
Because you have J-Mac, who's the typical like muscle head,
Tough, like Italian dude.
yeah, and it got me thinking like, hey, J-Mac probably brings that like blind loyalty thing with him where he's like, well, I know J-Mac's going to step in front of a bullet for me. Like anything goes down, this meathead's going to be like
bounce off of his skin.
Yeah, that leather skin. Like J-Mac.
That hot dog skin, dude.
That solid tan. It's like 20 years of tanning.
It's inch thick skin right there.
Yeah, but you have a J-Mac who's probably going to stand in front of you for a bullet, going to take a bullet for you. Or you get an absolute killer like Kouzi, who, if it comes down to it, somebody infiltrates the pack. And we find out, like, Kouzi's going to be able to handle himself against whoever is trying to attack you. Like, who would you go with?
Here's the thing, though. I think this is the thing. When you see Floyd walking around with all his bodyguards, they're like twice as tall as him and 3 times as wide as him. In those types of situations, I think it's good to have a killer, have someone who could handle a one-on-one confrontation. But a lot of the times when you have a bodyguard or you want a bodyguard, if something goes down, it's usually going to be like a scuffle type situation. And you just need body blockers. You just need big dudes. You need offensive linemen.
Okay. How about we go? Okay. How about Jan Blachowicz?
Yeah, that's a good bodyguard.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you saw Jan Blachowicz is willing to, because he thought Izzy was asking for a bodyguard when he misunderstood him that one time. He was like, yeah, how much do you pay? So would you hire Jan Blachowicz
over J-Mac? I got to go Jizzy.
Oh, snap. You're going, no, because there's something to say for that. You got the blind loyalty.
Yeah, but Jan's got that, I don't know. Jan's got that cursed rope.
I'm sorry for taking the show off the rails right now, talking about bodyguards and old Italians with leather skin.
This is a bodyguard fighting a kickboxing legend, so like it's par for the course,
Anything goes. Rising conversations. All right. Before that, we had Bandasak versus Yoshinari, and this is a Muay Thai fight, right?
Well, I think just a kickboxing fight.
Kickboxing fight. Okay, so we had Bandasak with a record of 78-21.
Yeah, he's
going
OG.
into this. Yoshinari riding a 50-fight winning streak.
How sick was his walkout?
It was pretty sick, man.
It's just a train of people holding his 12 belts. It's like, God damn, that's cool.
And I like that belt that he had strapped around his shoulders like that. I was like, that's pretty sweet, man. I like that. Dude, but the first thing that I picked up right away was just the speed on Yoshinari.
It's insane.
The head kick, and then I love how in the classic like Muay Thai stance, the leg comes down after the head kick, but it never plants.
Yeah,
it's just ready to go. Yeah, and so he hits him with the front kick to the solar plexus, and right after that
is different.
Bandasak was hurt.
Yeah,
and
go ahead. He was in mud, and then Yoshinari sees that, right? And the thing about Yoshinari with the speed, I mean, these guys weighed in at like 115, so they're going to be fast. But Yoshinari, anytime he would close the distance and throw a combo, it's like most people have the time to land one shot in those situations. But he's in there and he's like hook, knee to the body, and then an elbow on the break. Like he's just every time he'd come in, it was just like what was it, the Tasmanian devil, where it's like a little tornado real quick.
Yeah.
Like every time he comes in, it's like a little tornado, and he's out. Then he's in, and he's out, and he's landing these vicious shots, and you're like getting hit in the face and your body, and you're just like, oh, what's happening? And Bandasak just shut down.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this fight. I love this fight because your boy's favorite thing is punches and bunches, but this was a mixed bag in bunches. And the way that this was the beginning of the end, right? So you have Bandasak sitting up against the corner of the ring. Yeah. And Yoshinari steps to the right side of Bandasak, hits him with the left body kick, comes up with the left elbow, and then hits him with the hook to the body. And I was like, oh my God, the combos, man. And then he gets him with the knee to the body, and it's just nonstop attack. And at first, the ref stopped it, and I was like, oh, early stoppage.
Yeah.
And then you see,
like, get him out of there. Get him out of the ring. Something's wrong.
And you see Bandasak when they put the camera back on him, and he's like leaning over the rope, like staring into the abyss. And like somebody has to help him get his mouthpiece out, and he's like can't even close his mouth. He's like drooling, and I'm like, oh, dude, he's hurt. Yeah, he's badly hurt.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, dude.
And then afterwards, I was like, hey, you know what? Good stoppage. really good stoppage of the ref.
Yoshinari went back over to give him some props and like respect and all that stuff, and they're literally pulling him through the ropes, like let's get him out,
like helping him out.
Yeah,
he needed
medical
medical attention.
He couldn't
ASAP.
move, dude. Yeah.
Yep. Classic case of body shutting down.
Yeah, and maybe a broken rib or something. I don't know, but yeah, Yoshinari is
broken rib. I think that his jaw might have been jacked too, because on one of the breaks he hit him with the left elbow right on the jaw. Maybe a broken sole. There was a lot going on there.
There's a lot and I mean, he's a weathered dude. He's been doing it a long time. So
78 and 21-5.
Yeah,
my guy has over 100 fights.
Those Muay Thai records are crazy, man.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. And then the first fight of the night.
Yeah,
Miura versus Bunchuai.
Yeah, and Kota is he's a superstar, bro. He's a superstar. His debut was on the New Year's Eve event. I remember I probably told you a bunch about that, trying to get you to watch that. But it's crazy, man, because he's so young. But his dad is like a soccer legend in Japan, like legend, like superstar. And so he goes into fighting, and they're like, they're talking to his dad, and he's like, like, I don't know, like it was hard to support it at first, but like he's pretty good at it. He's like a TikTok superstar too. He's massive over there, and like he's getting Rizin sponsors for like the mats and stuff because he's so big. And this is his second fight, but the first fight on New Year's Eve card, which is incredible. It was a fantastic card. One of my favorite cards of the year. Whatever year you put it on, I don't even know, but I guess both. But Kota goes in there and he wins with a soccer kick knockout, and everyone's like, just like his dad. It was amazing. It was so cool. And then in this one, comes out with a submission. It's like, okay, we got something here. And obviously the level of competition is not like too crazy. But Bunchuai is a legend in his own right. I mean, boxing titles. He's had a ton of fights. The experience difference is massive here. But that being said, not a grappler. Doesn't grapple.
No. And you could see how easy it was for Kota. But first I want to start off saying Bunchuai coming out to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I did not expect it.
Was fantastic. I absolutely love that.
How cool is it really quick too, the screen? Everybody has their own display, and it's a wraparound screen, and then that rises up, and they're standing inside it with the lights behind them and stuff. God damn, it was cool.
So sick. And then the way that the camera starts off, zoomed out, the first bell rings, and it like zooms
Here
in.
We go.
All fast. I was like, oh, it's so good. But the other thing I love about Rizin is the fact that they have multiple referees sitting outside the ring. And so as Kota held onto a rope, a referee was there right away to break the grip and push his hand back in.
Yeah.
As soon as Bunchuai had a leg leaning out of the ropes, he pushed his leg back in. So there was multiple refs around, which I really, really thought was good.
Yeah.
But you talked about just the grappling experience for Bunchuai, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was the trip for Kota at the end.
Well, he pulled guard first, right? Kota pulled guard, and I was
that was the first round.
This is cool.
Pulled guard.
Yeah.
But then on the second takedown, we had the trip, and Bunchuai falls with Kota into his half guard, but he never locks his legs. And so Kota's like, oh, okay. And he just slips his leg right over, right into mount. And then from there, it's just super easy for Kota to get the finish, man.
Well, Bunchuai in mount was almost doing like a mummy guard, trying to like frame off to stop punches, which is like, you do that in like when you're standing. But then Kota was like, oh, you're just going to put your arm up. I'll just grab it and transition to an arm bar. And he did it fast. He did it very fast.
Which we saw a little bit too in the next fight that we're going to talk about. But again, started off watching Super Rizin, and I was like, hey, this was fun.
Yeah, dude. That I felt bad for Bunchuai because he finishes him with the armbar, and Kota goes out, he's celebrating and stuff. And he also, I love when Japanese MMA, they've done it since Pride. Dream did the same thing. They always do it, but it's silent, right? While the fight's happening, big moment happens, crowd erupts, and immediately there's like orchestra music playing throughout the arena, like the hero just beat the villain or something. Like, it's so cool, and people are throwing flowers in the ring, and they're just like, it's just so cool. But Kota goes back over to like shake Bunchuai's hand. I don't think he realized how hurt Bunchuai's arm was, because he was like not moving it, and he was like trying to grab it to like shake his hand. I was like, hey, just give him a hug, like
No,
don't
but
force
in the
the
beginning,
handshake.
he does go and Kota gives him like a tight hug, and it
Yeah.
includes the arm that was limp.
Yeah.
And you could see Bunchuai like, nah, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I'm
We're
in a
good.
lot of pain right now.
Yeah.
This isn't something I'm used to.
But that was a lot of fight. Then we had really fun fights. Thanks, Will.
Yeah.
We had Rizin 38.
Yeah. How about Rizin 38 was $15?
What a deal.
Yeah.
What a deal. So I still need to finish watching the rest of the fights, and I do want to go back and watch them because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll
but
cover
we
just
had
the top 3. We're already 30 minutes in. Halfway, we switch events now. I think that's perfect, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. But Rizin 38, the main event, Horiguchi versus Kintaro.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
Yes.
I love Horiguchi,
now,
man.
Quick question. Kintaro's tattoo, where does this rank amongst the worst tattoos in MMA?
Which one?
So the back piece.
The back
is
piece
pretty
I thought
good.
was sick.
But then it flows into his
Yeah.
arm and
Yeah.
his like chest and shoulder, where it looks like somebody who just like got black ink and
I
just
thought
rubbed
that's
it
sick.
all over.
It's it's solid black, but the outline is like the negative where there's no tattoo. I like it. That's I like that style.
I saw it and I was like, that looks awful.
So
That looks
we're
awful.
we're hating him just by
Right away, I was like, I don't like his tattoo. It's not starting off well. And
Yeah.
it translated into my thoughts right away for the results. So Kintaro, dude, the thing I'll give Kintaro is power. And the thing that I saw with Horiguchi right away was his frame reminds me of Frankie Edgar's.
Yeah, well, Horiguchi used to fight in the UFC at flyweight. He fought Mighty Mouse. He challenged for he fought Mighty Mouse at flyweight, and it's one of those things where after this fight, he said he's going to go back to 125, and he wants to get the Bellator belt, and well, because he fought Sergio Pettis in Bellator for the belt, he was trying to get because he was the Rizin champ, he was trying to get the Bellator belt and be a simultaneous, and Scott Coker's like, let's fucking do it. That's awesome, and
God, I love that about Scott Coker, by the way.
I know, yeah, he's
so down.
Much as we'll shit talk him, he's down for stuff like that.
He's down, man.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I think he's a fan before he's a businessman.
Yeah. To his fault sometimes, but yeah.
Yes, 100%. That's the thing. Because you have some extremes, right? You have the Dana White, who I think is a fan. You see it in it. But he's a businessman. Through and through. First.
Yeah.
Scott Coker, he's like, you know what, dude? I've always wanted to see Horiguchi fight over here. Like, that's going to ruin my fighter and my brand maybe if he wins, but I want to watch it. Let's do it.
And it worked out for both of them because Horiguchi wiped the floor with Sergio Pettis until Sergio Pettis caught him at the end of the fight with a spinning back fist and finished him. So it was like, oh shit. So it's like Bellator kept their belt. Sergio Pettis got to keep his belt, got an amazing knockout. But then you also showed that Horiguchi, despite losing, probably the better fighter. You know, he he outclassed him up until that point. But
hey, these things happen in MMA though. We just saw it recently with Kamaru Usman, you know?
And exactly. And so Gucci after that, he fights Patchy Mix.
Gucci, I like it.
Yeah, and in Bellator he loses, but you could tell he was just undersized. You know, the grappling, he just couldn't handle it. So this fight is at 135, but after he said he's going back to 125, which I think is where he belongs. But despite that, he was able to eat some pretty big shots from Kintaro because he got cracked.
Yes, he got cracked. You saw it in that first round. It was a solid shot right to the nose. And the thing with Horiguchi, though, is that I really like his timing on the takedowns. Beautiful timing, man. Yeah. The first one where Kintaro throws the head kick and slips so easily underneath it to take him down.
Takedown. Oh, God. It was
cool. Beautiful.
And planted leg.
The thing that I love about Rizin, knees to a grounded opponent, down opponent, because he started landing some knees. The urgency that it created with Kintaro for him to get back up, which was awesome. They end up getting back up. Gucci, as you call him. I'm not friends with him like you are, but I'll still call him Gucci, man. It goes down for another well-timed takedown. Yeah, and then it got me thinking again, the beautiful thing about the ring versus the octagon. Because he goes for the double leg takedown. you have Kintaro bounce off against the ropes and ends up getting taken down because there's not that support.
Yeah.
In the octagon, that would have given them an opportunity to try to fight for the underhooks. You know what I mean? And it becomes a clinching match at that point.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He gets taken down. And Horiguchi does a beautiful job with his transitions on the ground. And like I said, we're going to talk about the mummy guard here. In this case, there's no mummy guard by Kintaro, but the thing that I did see is that he was trying to use his left arm a lot to create separation between him and Gucci.
And he was trying to hit sweeps.
He was. Now, the problem is, and you know this better than I do, Will, but when you're trying to create separation with just your arms without trying to put the person on top off balance, whether it's a knee to the back to push them forward, whether you're trying to hip up, if you're doing this and you're letting them keep balance, you're just giving up a head and arm. You're giving up an arm bar. You're
giving him openings. Yeah.
You're giving him openings because he's just on a solid base. And that's what he did. He was trying to create separation. And that gave Gucci the ability to, he's like, oh, okay, no problem. He just slips down to his right side, gets him in a head and arm choke, and it was so tight.
Dude, and Kintaro did a good job first trying to turn into it, right? And he almost did. He almost was able to.
Almost.
But Horiguchi said, I know what you're doing. And then he just screwed it a little bit, turned him back over. And it was tight.
Which was tighter by the time he rolled.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to roll into it. Horiguchi creates a solid base by moving a little bit off to his side, right? And when he rolls back into it, you see like his face where he's getting no oxygen and like a savage goes out. Doesn't tap.
Yeah, it doesn't tap. Goes out. It was an awesome main event. I was super stoked for this one. Anytime Horiguchi fights is awesome. And you look at Kintaro's record and it's like, oh, maybe not that impressive, but the dude, he's a banger, dude. Like every single fight. And that's the other thing about Japanese MMA. They don't give a fuck about records. They don't care. As long as you bring it every time, who gives a shit if you lose? So it's cool.
I loved it. I love that fight. Now, before that, we had Izawa versus Svetkivska. But just for the sake of not butchering her name over and over again, Anastasiya. Izawa versus Anastasiya. So
Izawa is one of my favorite fighters right now. She's so fun to watch. Every time she fights, I'm like, God damn, she's good. And she came out of nowhere, bro. When she started in Rizin, she fought who was it on the New Year's card? Yeah, Ayaka Hamasaki, who fought in the previous fight before this one last night. But her Rizin debut was on the New Year's Eve card, and she fought Hamasaki, who's like the queen of women's MMA, like absolute pioneer in Japan for women's MMA. And she came out, she was supposed to lose, and she beat the brakes off of her. Izawa beat the brakes off of her. She got taken down. She started landing crazy up kicks to the face from guard, kicking her in the face from guard, and then just beat the brakes off of her. And they're like, whoa, we can't have this. Let's run it back. Hamasaki's like, she's the queen of women's MMA. Like, she needs to be on top here. So they run it back, and then she beats her again, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, this Izawa girl is
she's a real deal."
Yeah. So they put her in this one. That's 4 fights in a row she's won for Rizin to start her Rizin career. Very good.
I was super impressed. Of course, this is my first time watching Izawa fight and Anastasiya fight, and I was impressed by both of them, really. So right away, they let it be known that Izawa is going to want to take this down to the ground immediately. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, okay, she's a grappler. Anastasiya, though, held her own, man. Her own.
She won the first round in her guard.
And the rubber guard, that's the thing. Izawa seemed a little confused with how to handle the rubber guard.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things.
She had a tough time with it.
I think she wants to be on her back. Her back attacks are crazy, like in guard or like something like that. On top, it seems like she gets lost a little bit. And Anastasiya just did such a good job of threatening arm bars, triangles, landing elbows, rubber guard, all these different things in guard that Izawa was kind of just stuck. She couldn't really do anything. As Anastasiya was just so active that Izawa was just stuck defending. Which was awesome. And Anastasiya wasn't even supposed to be here. This is the semifinal for the Super Atomweight Grand Prix. She lost her last fight against Reina, who's also like a top tier women's MMA fighter over there. and everyone's like, oh shit, let's go, Reina versus Izawa, that's gonna be awesome. But then Reina, I think she had a broken orbital or something like that. So then they were like, Anastasiya, you lost, but you're moving on in the tournament.
You're up.
And I was like, yeah, and that's why I was like, man, I was always gonna run through this girl. But then that first round was tough,
bro. And you know, at the end of the first round, Anastasiya pushes Izawa off of her with both legs, but didn't retract the legs quick enough.
Yeah.
So Izawa grabs it, and they both start battling for a leg lock, which I thought was a lot of fun. Good way to end the first round.
How would that heel to the face in that 50-50 position when they're both kind of like battling for leg locks, and Anastasiya just fucking kicks her right in the jaw? It's like, whoo!
It was awesome, man. Now in the other thing, so they start off the second round. Anastasiya takes her back really quickly, and I was like, here we go. And then the way that Izawa rolled into it, and then the transitions from both of them, they end up in north-south position, and their grappling is so fantastic, man. It was so much fun. Izawa threatening with the triangle choke. It looked tight.
Yeah, the reverse triangle.
Elbows.
Yeah.
The elbows that she was landing while Anastasiya was stuck in that triangle position, man, was
There's nothing
fantastic.
you can do about it.
Dude, it was so much fun, though. And then, so Dallas happens to be walking my son. He's like walking. He's like, hey, Dad, I'm going to go to my friends right now. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, oh, because she transitioned out of the triangle. Into the armbar really quickly, gets Anastasiya, and I was so proud because my son goes, I thought she was going to get her with a triangle choke. Hey. Bye, Dad. And he walks down. I was like, my guy.
Yeah.
My guy, dude.
He's learning.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That's
I was so proud. Like a tear's just slowly falling down my cheek. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yes. Yes. But that was a fun fight, too. Very fun.
Yeah. And Izawa moves into the finale of the Grand Prix. Props to Anastasiya, but yeah, I'm so excited to see Izawa. And man, the matchup. I think we should probably move on to the next one now, right? Is anything else you need on that one? I know you didn't watch the next one.
What's the last one? So tell us about the last one, because I missed it.
So the last one, Ayaka Hamasaki versus Siwoo Park. This was the other semifinal of the Grand Prix, right? And shout out Rizin saying that's an awesome moment. Probably talking about Dallas. Or the armbar itself. It was an awesome moment.
Maybe both.
But, maybe both.
The combination of both.
But this one, Siwoo Park versus Hamasaki. Again, like I said, Hamasaki, queen of MMA, women's MMA over in Japan. Legendary career. But obviously doesn't get a lot of spotlight over here because she fights mostly at like atomweight, which there just isn't in America. So not a lot of publicity over here, but she's massive. She's fighting Siwoo Park, who's like straight up sprawl and brawl. Like Korean banger, I'm here to crack, you know? And the first round is kind of a chess match. You could tell Hamasaki's trying to take it down. She wants to grapple Siwoo Park. Siwoo Park, sprawl and brawler. She's trying to desperately stay up. A couple takedowns, but Siwoo Park's able to get up. Not a lot of action there. Second round is mostly just trading leg kicks. Hamasaki kind of ditched the takedown attempts, which I was surprised, but they're both landing pretty big leg kicks. And then the third round, Siwoo Park comes out. Kind of a chess match at this point, not the most exciting, but the third round, Siwoo Park is just landing on her. You could tell she was probably a little bit hesitant, waiting or worrying about the takedown in the first two rounds. But after she defended a couple in the first and not a lot in the second, she really let the hands go, drops her at one point in the third round with a massive right hand. I was like, oh no, here we go. But Hamasaki's a vet. She's able to survive. Ultimately, Siwoo Park gets the win by decision. Not the craziest fight, but definitely fun. But what it sets up is very fun because now it's Siwoo Park versus Izawa. Yeah, and that's going to be, I mean, it's pure grappling ace in Izawa and sprawl and brawl. Don't take me down. I'm just trying to bang Siwoo Park. So it's like, whose game plan is going to work here? Because who's
going to impose their will?
Yeah, because I mean, Izawa can literally pull guard in this fight and just attack off her back, set up triangles, all this cool shit, and probably win. But Siwoo Park is very good at defending takedowns. It's like I think she's going to have to pull guard. I don't think she's going to be able to take her down. It's a fun matchup, man.
Dude, you know what else Dallas said though? When he saw this, he said he loves watching women's MMA.
Whoa, a progressive man.
He He is. You're absolutely right, man. No, but it just goes to show, the evolution of mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
where
definitely.
before we wouldn't be, and when I say we, I say the MMA community, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't be really excited to talk about
Mhm.
women's MMA, but women have been putting on some absolute bangers, man, for the last
Yeah.
couple of years. The evolution of women's MMA has been fantastic. You start seeing
Mhm.
some talent, and really, Will, I'm really glad you're getting me into ONE FC and Rizin because, especially for the women's MMA, you see the talent
It's
here,
better.
and right away I start thinking about Izawa.
Oh, what if they came here?
Going
Yeah.
up, yes, and I'm like, dude, they're top 5, top
Yeah.
6, with
That's
some of
what
the
I've been
talent in
saying,
some of these
remember?
divisions.
I was like, man, these guys are gonna come over, dude. The one thing too, Rizin especially, they have the atomweight division, which is atomweight division for women is, I think, the best.
Money.
Yeah, I don't know why the UFC
let's take
hasn't
the
done
featherweight
it.
division out. Let's put the atomweight division in.
It's crazy to me that the UFC hasn't done that yet. But maybe it's just because the talent is so saturated in Rizin, and even ONE FC has some of these smaller girls too. That maybe they're just like, we're not going to be able to get these names because they make so much money off sponsorships. Horiguchi's last fight in Rizin,
Yeah,
I paid I don't know what he got paid as far as from Rizin, but he got $800,000 from his sponsors.
dang. Yeah, why would you want to come over for 50 and 50?
Yeah, I mean, it's just not so I can win the UFC belt.
50 and 50, and then 5,000 from who is it, Venom?
From Venom, yeah. Meanwhile, Horiguchi's sponsored by Beats by Dre. I think he was sponsored by TikTok at one point. New Era, massive companies, and getting paid a ton of money. They're just not going.
That's so tough,
and it sucks
man.
because Roberto de Souza, one of my favorite fighters right now, he's a lightweight champion in Rizin. They've talked to him. And they're like, "Oh, you gonna come to the UFC ever?" And he's like, "Why would I do that? I make so much money here." And it's like, damn. Yeah. But because he's top 5 in the UFC, I think, at lightweight, which is the Shark Tank. He could beat those guys. He subbed the guy who's about to fight for the lightweight belt in Bellator, because Bellator and Rizin do their cross promotion. But I don't know, man. I'm excited for the next event. I mean, the fact that
Me too.
Super Rizin was $30 and Rizin 38 was $15. And if you bought the first one, you get a discount on the second one. So it's
wow.
Yeah. And the MMA subreddit didn't. There's some shady stuff going on with this MMA subreddit, man. But anytime there's an event, there's a discussion thread, right? There's an official discussion thread that the mods will post, and it's pinned to the top of the subreddit, and everybody's in there chatting during the fights.
Yeah.
There was not one for the Bellator on Friday. There was not one for Super Rizin or Rizin 38, which there have been in the past, to the point where I made a discussion thread for Super Rizin during it. There's 100 comments. People were watching. It's fun. And then the mods removed my post. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? And then
Dana White runs it?
Yeah, I got some DMs from some people about some shady stuff going on. But
what?
I don't know, man.
Is it stuff we could share?
No,
or would you have the Reddit Mafia knocking at your door here?
I'm not trying to get our account banned.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But it's weird because there's UFC live discussion threads every time, and there's LFA and Cage Warriors, which are notorious feeder organizations for the UFC. I don't know. It's weird. Look into it.
Look
Put
into
on Eddie Bravo.
Look into it.
Look into it.
That's so funny.
I don't know.
Where'd you hear this?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it for these events. I had a blast. Maybe, I was thinking, well, what if we start a yearly tradition for the New Year's cards where we kind of do live companions and we carry it over the next year talking about mixed martial arts.
Dude, the Japanese, they've always done the New Year's card. It was a big thing in K1, big thing in Dream, Pride. Rizin's doing it again. And like I said, Rizin 33 was the New Year's Eve card. It was incredible. They opened the show. I forgot his name, the guy who won the gold in the Olympics for skateboarding. He's a Japanese guy. They opened the show.
I was going to say Shaun White.
Yeah. They opened the show, the walk down ramp that all the fighters walk down. There's a rail. And I'm like, what the hell? Dude just rolls out on the skateboard and everyone's like, eh. And then he board slides down the entire ramp to start the show. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
That's so sick,
Love it,
man.
Yeah, I can't get enough.
Japanese just know how to do it right. All right.
Glove too. The Rizin gloves, the green gloves.
Awesome.
Fingers go down to here.
Yeah. That's
Fun
perfect.
stuff. Yeah.
So next week we have UFC Fight Night.
There's so much
Dern
next
versus
week.
Yan Xiaonan.
We got to get together and see what we're doing for next week, because
A lot going on.
we have ONE FC 161, one on Prime 2, and the UFC card, all in the same weekend.
What if we do a mix? Maybe 2 or 3 of the top fights from the Fight Night card, 2 or 3 of the top fights from
do that.
ONE FC. You know what I mean? Get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because one on Prime 2 is pretty sweet, man. Super Bond's on the card. Stamp Fairtex is fighting. Like,
oh yeah, Stamp.
Card.
Hey, maybe we do a poll to see if people would like to see a mix.
We'll do it. I'll put the poll up, but I would imagine it's going to heavily favor UFC.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, we saw people last week on last week's show where they're like, "Hey, not excited about Dern versus Yan Xiaonan."
That's true.
Then again, it was Bruce Bobtrotter, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out Bruce Bobtrotter, by the way.
We'll figure it out. We'll be live on Sunday morning for sure, though, right?
Yeah.
Talk about something.
But yeah, next week we have Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan, Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo, the 60-year-old Francisco Trinaldo.
Yeah, over.
Let me see. Do you have anything else that really jumps out at you? Trevin Jones is going to be fighting again. Sadiq Yusuf's going to be on the card. Guido Canetti
against Randy Costa. That's a great fight.
Brendan Allen's going to be on there.
Yeah, but he's fighting Joko. Borshev is what I'm most excited about on this card, I think.
Stolyarenko, is she the one that passed out on the
yes.
when she was weighing in? I think that's
she's
how I
fighting
recognize
Chelsea
that
Handler.
name. Chelsea Handler, huh? Alexei Olenek still doing it, man, versus Latifi.
I can't believe Latifi's still doing it.
OnlyFans own Jessica Penne
versus OnlyFans own Tabitha Ricci.
Yes, so fantastic. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that card plays out. That's all I got. Will, do you have anything else?
Yeah, this episode was produced by Richard Bustos.
Ooh, I love it. Yes, thank you. And props to you, Will, for your really good pronunciations of these Japanese names.
I mean,
I struggle through it. I have to read them slowly. And you just
do we even know if I'm nailing it?
You know what? In my head, you are. So
yeah,
congratulations.
Okay.
But yes, thank you, everybody. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we talk about UFC, whenever we talk about Rizin, whenever we talk about ONE FC, whenever we talk about anything that really gets all those moms to hop on, as Regen TV says. So yes, and then also, if you don't like watching but you like listening, you have Spotify, which also has video now, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, you name it, we're on there. Storyofthefight.com going to be coming soon.
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah. And then social media, Will.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Twitch, Vero.
Yes, Regen TV saying, have a great day, fellas. Thank you for the show. Thank you, Regen, for always joining us, man. You make the show so much better. And then he also says, bye, Mom, to all the moms out there. Yes.
Shout out to the
moms. If you don't have anything else, Will, this is all I got. Thanks for listening to another week of Story of the Fight. Hopefully our Japanese audience starts growing now, Will.